Tucker Carlson recently read a Twitter thread about why Americans do not trust the electoral process right now, why so many Americans don't. And this Twitter thread goes into great detail about how messed up the past 5 years have been. My friends, in 2018, I and many others said, if you think 2018 is bad, just wait till Donald Trump is up for re-election and you will see sheer insanity. About that. Well, 2019 was kind of bad in terms of, impeachment and other garbage. 2020 was also particularly insane for a variety of reasons. We'll just leave it at that so we can keep this one onto the politics and not just like all the weird stuff that happened with government. Anyway, I digress. If you thought 2020 was bad, wait till you see 2022, 23, 24. It is going to be crazier than you can imagine. On Twitter right now, with about 160 or 170,000 tweets, hashtag arrest Donald Trump or something like that. They're scared. Donald Trump easily wins CPAC 2024 GOP presidential nomination straw poll. The former president improved on his straw poll performance from CPAC Orlando in February. Oh, Donald Trump's coming. He hasn't gone anywhere. He has his base. He is gaining support. Now, DeSantis is fairly far behind, rather popular. Many people wonder if a Trump-DeSantis ticket could be the presidential ticket for the Republicans. Mike Pence in this poll, 0%. Amazing. So what's happening? In response to Donald Trump's speech at CPAC, as more and more people watch what he says, YouTube freezes CPAC's account, deletes video of Trump's speech discussing tech censorship, and issues a 1-week freeze on the CPAC YouTube account. They're doing everything in their power to stop Donald Trump. They do not want his speeches to go out there. They do not want him to gain support, but there is nothing they can do to stop it. The FBI is trying. The FBI on Twitter, family members and peers are often best positioned to witness signs of mobilization to violence, help prevent homegrown violent extremism, learn how to spot suspicious behaviors and report. Sounds an awful lot like the FBI is trying to get people to snitch on their own family members. Sounds a bit like the Soviet Union or communist countries, not like America. We stand by family, don't we? Maybe not so much anymore. Here you can see arrest Trump now with 181,000 tweets. They do not want Donald Trump to win. So here's what I'll explain to you. I don't care what happened or why it happened or what you think is happening. I will just say, if you thought 2018 was crazy, 2019 was, come on, 2016 was crazy, and every year afterwards has been increasingly crazier. They're doing everything in their power. I've seen a lot of really freaky stuff that makes me angry. There's one I can't get into great detail on just yet, but maybe we'll bring it up in the members only segment for Timcast IRL. There's a photos of an individual dressed up like let's just call it an anatomically correct rainbow monkey with exposed privates. And they're using that in the UK to teach children, I believe it was in the UK, to read. Because the left has gone absolutely insane, driven mad by algorithms. Donald Trump doesn't need social media to remain popular. The more the left goes insane, the more people see this, the more they look up at Donald Trump and his friends and his fans, and they say, save us. I've warned about this. I said, with Antifa and the far left, BLM smashing up, destroying buildings, you will get more and more people begging the right for some kind of response. The Democrats got crushed, unbelievably crushed in the House. Now, of course, they still retained the House majority. But what I mean by crushed is that safe blue districts for the Democratic Party turned Republican. Now, that's crazy. Donald Trump, without social media, still is getting the approval of the of CPAC. Let's read this story. We'll talk about what YouTube did to try and shut him down, why they want to shut him down, and how desperate some in the intelligence agencies are to stop Donald Trump. Fox News reports, Former President Donald Trump easily won the 2024 GOP presidential nomination at the Conservative Political Action Conference gathering this weekend in Texas. Trump, who's repeatedly flirted with making another presidential run in 2024 to try and return to the White House, captured 70% of ballots cast in the anonymous straw poll, according to results announced by CPAC on Sunday afternoon. That's a boost from the 55% he won in the hypothetical 2024 Republican primary at the previous CPAC in Orlando, late February. Quote, "I want to personally thank each and every one of you for your incredible support," Trump said as he gave the Dallas event's keynote address minutes later. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis came in distant second at 21%. No one else among the 19 potential 2024 Republicans in the White House contenders topped 1%. Now, shout out to Rand Paul. We love Rand Paul over here. Getting his 1%. Rand's cool, dude. None of these guys are perfect. DeSantis is not perfect. Trump's far from perfect. But you know what? They're fighters. All of them. All three of them. So Rand Paul's definitely he's rad. DeSantis is, and I'm you know what? I got to say this. I look at Trump, number one, and I'm like, yeah, I believe it. I do. I've questioned whether or not Trump should be the nominee because of the vitriol they can use. Ron DeSantis might be better. Of course, they're going to smear and attack him and try and take him down. But a lot of regular people are going to be like, who? Donald Trump. Lightning in a bottle, man. They want to come after him. Now, here's what's fun. You got Rand Paul in third with 1%. Nikki Haley, Ted Cruz, Tucker Carlson, Kristi Noem, Mike Pompeo, Greg Abbott, and then Mike Pence at 0%. This is something else. This is really something else. There's going to be a Republican primary to try and figure out which person will be the Republican candidate. I mean, honestly, there might not even be one. It's Trump, and we all know it. They will stage some kind of Republican primary, and I think it'd be a waste of time. Donald Trump will be the nominee, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see. We're still years away. So, DeSantis, a first-term governor and Trump ally who soared in popularity among conservatives nationwide for his resistance to lockdowns and COVID restrictions amid the pandemic, easily topped a second 2024 ballot question without Trump on the hypothetical ballot. DeSantis grabbed 68% support on that question, with former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo at 5%, Trump Jr. and Ted Cruz at 4%, Kristi Noem at 3%. No one else topped 2%. The straw poll results, along with the former president's headliner speech on Sunday, were the most anticipated moments at the 3-day gathering of conservative activists and leaders from across the country. Trump's strong performance comes as no surprise. CPAC, long the largest and most influential gathering of conservatives, has become a Trump fest since his 2016 victory. 88% of CPAC attendees casting ballots said they strongly approved of the job Trump did in the White House, with another 10% somewhat approving, so 98% in approval. CPAC attendees anonymously answered via an app the 20-question survey designed by organizers. Among the topics on the secret ballot, which organizers say will give them a sense of the pulse of the conservative movement, are critical race theory, cancel culture, and border security. But the 2024 straw poll questions, without a doubt, generated the most interest. At the straw poll at CPAC in Orlando, DeSantis, who finished in second place with 21% support, was the only other Republican to reach double digits. DeSantis topped the second straw poll question in Orlando, which didn't include Trump, with 43%. So you can see DeSantis doing even better. Now, you look at these results. These CPAC attendees. These are the influencers. These are the activists. These are the ones sending the message. If 70% right now are saying, Trump, baby, that's the message they're going to be sending on social media. It's the message you're going to hear in podcasts. You're literally hearing it from me right now. Although I'm not saying it to you as like my call to action. These people are going to go on their podcasts and say they want Trump as that nominee. Now that's incredible. I think it's fairly predictable. Now, what comes next? Even more predictable. We saw some of the most intense censorship. Now, I got to be careful. This article from timcast.com. YouTube freezes CPAC's account, deletes video of Trump's speech discussing tech censorship. Because perhaps in the article we quote what YouTube took issue with. YouTube took down a video of Donald Trump speaking at a rally where he has 70% support among conservatives. I had a really interesting conversation with a couple people last week. Darren Beatty, for one, he mentioned, people rag on China because you can't make fun of Chairman Xi or whatever, or you can't criticize Mao or whatever. Yeah? How's that going for you, America? You can't go online and criticize certain people. You can't have an opinion about the election. Legitimate opinion. I mean, you could be stupid. I've long said this. They're trying to make it, they're trying to take away people's rights to just be dumb. If you want to go out and say something dumb, you're allowed to do it. If you want to go on the Senate floor and you get elected, you're allowed to do it. No. Big tech says no, 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 no. We won't allow you to speak. But they're private companies. Great. So when you have massive monopolistic enterprise seizing the commons from the working class and shutting out opinions they don't like so they can empower their rich selves, you defend that? Cassandra Fairbanks writes, YouTube has deleted a video of former President Donald Trump from the account belonging to the American Conservative Union and froze their account, preventing them from streaming his CPAC speech on Sunday. The video that was removed, as well as Trump's speech, focused heavily on big tech censorship. The American Conservative Union, ACU, has learned that a recent episode of its America Uncanceled program on the CPAC Now network has been removed by YouTube. The ACU said in a statement, the episode featured coverage of former President Donald Trump's major class action lawsuit against big tech, led by America First Policy Institute. ACU is a plaintiff in the suit. ACU Chairman Matt Schlapp said that he believes his account was censored because they are supporting Trump's lawsuit. It is clear that YouTube censored CPAC because we stood with former President Donald Trump on his lawsuit against big tech. This is yet another example of big tech censoring content with which they disagree in order to promote the political positions they favor. During the censored speech, Trump said that big tech censorship is unconstitutional and unlawful. The CPAC account is suspended from posting for 1 week. In an email to the ACU, YouTube claimed the organization violated the platform's medical misinformation policy concerning COVID-19 as the reason for removing the video of Trump. YouTube did not specify any statements made in the video that allegedly violated their policies. What did Trump say in a video about censorship that violated their medical misinformation policy? I don't know. To be safe, I'll just say, if you ever have any medical questions, don't get your advice from people on the internet or TV. Talk to your doctor. That's the big thing YouTube says you have to say. All right, we'll be safe. The ACU statement said they believe YouTube was offended by the sound medical research conducted by the Smith Center for Infectious Disease and Urban Health and St. Barnabas Medical Center. Former President Donald Trump referenced a study in a video that YouTube removed, saying that, I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to tell you this. The FDA, because YouTube's rules, the FDA and CDC have not issued any guidelines or any approval for these specific treatments pertaining to hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. And I think that actually is important to point out. In full disclosure, here's what's crazy. You can't even talk about the existence of these studies. No joke, no joke. I genuinely believe, and again, I really want to stress this, that any medical question should be taken up by expert medical professionals. Get a second opinion if you need to. I know you guys hear me say it a lot, but there's two big things. YouTube will delete this video in 2 seconds for me simply telling you what Trump said, unless I include some of these caveats. And more importantly, dude, it's like legit. You should not be getting your advice from the internet. Like, I mean, you can do your own research. Don't get me wrong. And your health is your responsibility. But, talk to a doctor, and you're not getting advice from me. I'm telling you that right now. I don't want to get sued by you. That's another really important point. When people go on these shows and they say like what you should or shouldn't do, I'm like, bro, you're going to get sued for telling people what they should do. Nah, you don't do that. I don't give financial advice. I don't give medical advice. But YouTube took this down. Trump was talking about it. Medical misinformation. CPAC was just filming the former president speak, and they got censored. Rand Paul was speaking on the Senate floor, a U.S. senator. He said a name. Gone. YouTube took him down. A senator speaking on the Senate floor. I can't say that name. I cannot say that name. No joke. If I do, YouTube will delete this video without question. It's a crazy world we live in, right? You want to pretend that censorship is worse in China? Well, no. It is worse, but it's bad here too. Now, I had a conversation, in my conversation about censorship with China, I'm like, listen, there are a lot of people who say things like, we here in the U.S. have no authority to criticize their censorship. And I'm like, no, that's wrong. We do. We do have the moral superiority. You and I, the people who believe in greater free speech. I say greater free speech because I think for the most part, most of us do have our limits. Some people are free speech absolutists. And if you are, then you got the most moral authority because you're being consistent. But for me, for the most part, it's like, don't incite violence. I understand that. Don't instruct people on how to do specific crimes. But, outside of that, it's like, have your opinion, speak your mind. I understand the free speech absolutist argument. You can tell people to do something doesn't mean you did it. All right, then. Well, I'll tell you this. I don't approve of government censorship. I don't approve of corporate censorship. And I certainly don't approve of Chinese communist censorship. Why would I be okay with any of it? But it is a good point. You can look at China and see how people in America are like, haha, China's censoring the people in Hong Kong and shutting down news outlets. Oh, really? Oh, you mean something like that didn't happen in the U.S.? The government just outsources their censorship. They are desperate to shut down Trump in any way possible. Medical misinformation policy. Sure. A convenient excuse. Again, don't get your advice from the internet. But I do think it's an excuse. Absolutely. This one's my favorite. Family members and peers are often best positioned to witness signs of mobilization and violence. Violence is wrong. And in fourth and fifth generational warfare, you do not win. You don't. The state has a monopoly on violence. If you think you're going to go out in a protest or something and then, I don't know, be violent in some capacity, you're going to lose so quickly. You'll wish you didn't do it. I'm sure there's a lot of people on the right who are like, we wish January 6th never happened. Although it's not nearly as insane as the left is trying to make it out to be. It was bad. It was a bad riot. And the people who went there gave fuel that they've been using for over 6 months. And guess what? This is the low year, baby. We're coming off a presidential election. Views for everybody go down. This is the political content drops dramatically. Culture content goes up quite a bit. But a lot of people are just burned down on all of it. And by cultural content, I mean like movie reviews, not like culture war stuff. So a lot of people are chilling. They just want to go out. They want to ride their bikes on the bike path, go fishing. Just not think about this stuff, man. The midterms. Next year. In the next few months, we're going to start seeing more and more campaigning. In fact, already some people are campaigning. Come next year when the campaigning starts and the Republicans seek to regain control of the House, the Democrats have to shut out the Republicans. It's political warfare. Big tech will do everything in their power. Will my show last on YouTube? I don't think so. Maybe through the midterms. What about 2023? What about when Donald Trump's back and he's campaigning again and he's speaking? They will pass rules to ban every single speech by Trump for some reason. They will claim that all of his supporters are providing material support to extremists. They'll stretch the definition of extremist and do everything in their power. There was a tweet I saw. It said, if Republicans win back the House, it's game over. Perhaps. I believe that if the Republicans win back the House, the first thing they should do is impeach Joe Biden. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. You'd think it's a tit for tat. It's not. Joe Biden should be impeached because Joe Biden, as far as we can tell from the evidence, was selling his position as vice president for money through his son. Photos emerged showing Joe Biden standing next to Hunter Biden's business associates when Joe Biden told us, I never talked to my son about any of this stuff. Wow, you must have just plugged your ears and yelled, shoot it on a shot of pressure over and over again as his business partners were sitting there with you. Or the investigations into Burisma, or the quid pro quo. The Republicans should absolutely move to impeach Joe Biden for those misdemeanors and high crimes. Will they? Of course they won't. The Republicans are spineless losers. There's a small handful. Lauren Boebert's awesome, but these are more of the populists who ran as Republicans. Then we got Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think she's a fighter, and I think it's look. I might not agree with everything she says, that's for sure. At least you can give her credit for having a spine. Lauren Boebert as well. Rand Paul's pretty cool. Thomas Massey's a fighter. Ted Cruz is all right. All right. Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, I think, are all right. But these populist Republicans who came in, I think they're a lot better. They're fighters. It's like the answer to the squad. But too many of the Republicans are establishment. They sit on their hands. They do nothing. 2022 is going to get interesting. And the Republicans might take back the House. Might. I think they only need like 11 seats, which can be easily done. Easily. But we'll see. 2023 will be primary season. You're going to see campaigning like none other. You are going to see more money dumped into all of politics than you saw before. Now you might think, Tim, Donald Trump's re-election was scarier. No. The re-election campaign. No, this will be worse. This will be crazier. You know why? Donald Trump's an old man. He's an old man. He is. He's got a chance. One more chance. You're not going to see an 82, 83-year-old Trump running for office. Maybe. Maybe it'll be a Trump family member or something. DeSantis could run again after this. This is it. This is, they've taken the center. The Democrats have taken the center with control of effectively all three branches of government, somewhat to an extent, not the Supreme Court, but come on. They've got both the House, both chambers of Congress, the executive branch, and a moderately favorable Supreme Court, though it is conservative. Now that they have the center, they need to lock it down. They are going to fire everything to make sure Donald Trump can't get back in. But he's doing really well. The censorship will get worse. Anybody supporting Trump is going to find themselves being censored. The YouTube algorithm is going to start propping up more and more leftists as they do. They are going to isolate content like this. Here's how it works. Oh, you may notice I get hundreds of thousands of views on all my videos, but it's the same people. They've isolated it, so it doesn't exist in the larger ecosystem. Mainstream leftist stuff, front page, no question. That's the plan. That's the game. They shut out anyone who opposes the establishment, but they do it slowly. They can't just nuke it, otherwise they create a backlash. They need to make sure that you feel you have enough hope, that it's possible to win. It's part of their strategy. This is fourth and fifth generational warfare. We must be peaceful, persuasive, and resourceful. And that means the number one thing you can do, share this video and share any other video that you support. They can ban people and shut them out. But if people are sharing videos like crazy, the censorship will have to get to a point where it becomes untenable. And then they lose control. So they're between a rock and a hard place. This is their weakness. You can bypass their manipulations and their algorithms by sharing the content. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/Timcast while it lasts. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.